My name is Scott Hacking. This is my father, Ed Hacking, and we're making a video for YouTube about my father's new book. And I'm going to be on the other side of the room. So, Dad, you recently finished a book, is that right?
Yes, it's about ready to go on Kindle.
Oh, okay, great. What's your book about?
It's a new creation, the new theory of creation.
Okay, I see. And you've been, I think, giving this quite a bit of thought, haven't you?
Well, actually, this thought came to me at 4 o'clock one morning out of a sound sleep, and I suddenly had the knowledge, where it came from I don't know, I had the knowledge that there was creation of energy first, and then creation of galaxies one at a time, not all billions of galaxies at one time.
I see.
That came about over 100 years ago when cosmologists had huge telescopes, and they were looking through the night sky back 13 billion light years ago, and they saw all of these galaxies, and they saw them moving in one direction as a result of what they called an explosive force, and someone called it the Big Bang. Now, actually, there's an entirely new theory of that, in which only one galaxy at a time was created.
I see. And that's kind of a new thing that you've thought up, isn't it?
Yes, I didn't think it up. It came as a flash. And at 4 o'clock in the morning, I went to my computer and wrote it all down.
Isn't that fascinating? Okay.
Yeah, never gave it a thought before.
So the Big Bang Theory would say that everything happened all at once, whereas your idea is that there was a galaxy created and
an evolutionary progression of one galaxy at a time, each one improved over the other. And that seems to be the way things worked in eternal life, starting with just consciousness and gradually progressing in intelligence.
I see.
There was no time involved, but these evolutionary progressions gave a sense of time.
I see. Okay. This is pretty deep stuff, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, I don't claim to be an authority on eternal life.
I see.
That's beyond me.
Okay. And then, so this is in contrast to the Big Bang, and you also have some eternal principles that you wanted to talk about. 8 eternal principles?
Yes. In the non-physical life which existed before creation, there were some principles which we don't know of except as they are incorporated into our physical life. One of them would be consciousness. And consciousness is what you are. You're not your mind or your body. You are consciousness. I refer to a scientist, Evan Harris Walker, who wrote The Physics of Consciousness, in which he says that the consciousness is attached to your brain or before birth, and it's through the synapses, and it's at a micro level. But that's what you are. You are your consciousness.
I see, and that's a non-physical thing, isn't it?
Yes, some people call it God consciousness, and it's just a term that we use in the English language, call it God. But I don't, that's not a religious book at all.
I see. Okay. So that's kind of the first principle, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, it is. And with that is perception.
Okay.
And perception, I would call it the medium in the eternal life, but perception is knowing. It's not a transmission of thought. It's knowing something.
I see.
And you see it with animals. Your dog might have a certain perception, just know something without, it's not a physical thing at all.
I see. Okay. And we were talking about certain people over time that have had this ability to perceive.
Oh, prophets, yes, they seem to have some degree of perception. I think it's wired in our brains, but we don't use it because we use language.
Okay.
But I think eventually we will develop this perceptive power.
I see. I see. And Einstein had this, didn't he? Would you say?
I think so. A lot of things that he thought of were not written down and were not promoted because he couldn't prove them. And the scientists have to have proof. Seeing is believing to a scientist.
I understand. Okay. So this is kind of fascinating. So there's kind of this physical level here with human beings on Earth, and then there's this eternal kind of, they're kind of mirrors of each other in a way, aren't they? Or
Yes, before creation, of course, there was obviously consciousness, an eternal life, and it had to be something there that had the intelligence to create. But I think creation was a little bit of a happening. It wasn't no forethought necessary.
I understand. Okay. So these are two of the eternal principles:
Perception and consciousness.
Consciousness.
Infinity could go along with that, but actually, infinity was nothing. There wasn't any such thing as infinity. One scientist says God gave up infinity when he created physical things, and there's no more infinity. But actually, there never was any infinity. It's just a different dimension.
It's another dimension.
Yeah.
There's nothing in infinity except consciousness. It's a non-physical world.
Yeah.
Okay.
But consciousness is many things. I mean, we don't know exactly what consciousness is.
I see. Okay. Then there's a lot of mysteries still to be solved, aren't there? Okay.
Yes, but before the end of the fourth stage of man, which is the cosmic age, we will know.
Well, that sounds like, I guess, fun. Sounds a little scary too.
Yes, it does sound scary, but it's coming on an upward curve. Technology is on an upward curve, and human acuity is on that same upward curve. And at the end of that curve, we reach the end of the cosmic age. We will know all we need to know.
Okay. All right. Very interesting. So, and then we've talked about a few of the principles. What other principles are important?
Well, mathematics is something we use all the time. Mathematics is not physical. It's one of the eternal principles. And along with that is the advanced form, which is quantum mechanics. And quantum mechanics was the secret to creation. And there's an uncertainty principle that goes along with that, which bothered Einstein greatly. And he spent the last 8 years of his life trying to figure out that uncertainty principle. He didn't believe in it because he said God does not play dice. But funny thing, this uncertainty principle doesn't seem to have anything but positive endings. So it really isn't playing dice. It's just something possibly created, connected with chaos theory.
I see.
Except for the positive ending, which is a nice thing about that uncertainty principle. So as long as Einstein can't figure it out, I'm not going to try.
I see. So the uncertainty principle has to do with randomness.
Yeah.
A certain randomness to things.
Yes.
Okay. But that's all part of the plan, or that's all part of it all, isn't it?
That's the whole theme of the book is there is a plan.
I see.
And we are it.
Okay, we're the plan. Okay.
Yes. Now, there are a couple other things I should mention, and one of them is the collapse principle.
Okay.
When a cosmologist looks through in the night sky, he often sees a flash in which a large star just folds up on itself and there's nothing. It's gone back into energy. So that's the reverse creation. That's one law of physics is conservation of energy, and this is one way to conserve energy. Just take the large stars and put them back into energy. The reason that all these old galaxies haven't been put back into energy is because they form a history.
So let's talk about some of the other principles that you talked about. There's a surge principle.
Yeah. Yeah, that surge principle is one of the most important principles. In eternal life, it's all of the branches of eternal life uh, have a, if there's a problem, it develops gradually until it reaches a decisive point.
I see.
And with humans, it takes about 20 years to reach that point. Uh, I've studied this in the British Library, and they have the Times Index going back to 1700. And a social problem will develop with one story and then more stories, and gradually builds up, and it takes about 20 years before a solution is reached. Everybody agrees, and it's not mentioned again. Now, with birds and fish, you see swarms of birds going this way and that way, and finally they go on a path on their trip south or north, depending on the season. With fish, they do the same thing. They go to different directions, and they'll swarm all of a sudden in one direction. That's the surge principle.
It's a decisive moment.
Yes.
Isn't it? An interconnectedness among the participants. And this happens in people too.
Yes, it takes about 20 years on the average. And during that, we're in a period of transition right now with turmoil among nations. And when we reach the point of going in one direction, it could have been a catastrophe to cause that, but we don't know.
I see. Okay. So we talked about the surge principle, the collapse principle.
Yes, and I'd like to talk about this upward curve, which is with technology. They estimate that in the year 2045, that technology, machines, and robots will be smarter than people. But that's smarter than the way people are now, because people are developing their acuity along with the technology. And I assume that by the year 2045, that people will have reached a very high point in that acuity scale, that upward curve.
I see. Okay. So people are evolving.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's what is developing in the cosmic age.
I see.
And by the end of the cosmic age, which is sometime in this century, I think, we will have what we call total perception, or knowing. We'll have all the answers.
Fascinating. And that covers all of the principles, doesn't it?
Yes, the 8 principles.
Okay.
Now, there could be more that I haven't come up with.
Okay. You're evolving too.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, your book will be available on Kindle, and this is just a little primer, this YouTube video. And if anyone would like to contact you, how can they get in touch?
EdHacking@earthlink.net.
All right, Dad. Well, thank you.